Hello, dummies. How are you guys today? Hopefully well. It's been an interesting week. Very interesting week. Had a lot of fun stuff happening. I haven't been able to really sleep, but been busy in my life. Learning a lot more, and hopefully that'll lead to growth. Hopefully I can keep learning and continue to build myself up and try to find ways and strategies to get through this life as unscathed as possible. So, hasn't been really too bad at all. It's actually been enjoyable. So, I'll just get right into it basically. This week there was a news story that has made the rounds. Basically, a man had done something to get into some sort of police chase. It was evident that the man was in psychosis. He had gotten into a car and he was driving. And it wasn't 100% clear, but it made it sound like this man had somehow cut off his cock while driving and then held it out the window and threw it at cops behind him. And this is a man who is mentally ill, and he's not in the right state of mind. However, I would not cut my cock off for a single one of you. This man thought he was saving the fucking world. Get this man a fucking Nobel Prize. We've had people do... we gave fucking Cuomo a fucking... whatever, Emmy or whatever, and he's just literally going around just grabbing pussy by the handful. He's literally Trump's sequel. He couldn't even imagine just walking in, just like actually grabbing them by the pussy and just being like, oh, I can't help it, you know? It's insane. But this man... get this man in the fucking Marines. Make this man a SEAL. I mean, get him help first. But once he's stable, be like, hey, Mr. Bourne, we're putting you back in. You know? Like, fuck. Like, that man did more than I think most people would have. I hope for a recovery. I don't know if you recover from that. I hope you do. I know there's been people that have had their dicks cut off by their wives or whatever and got it sewn back on. That's nice. That's fun. I would imagine that divorce is less painful. But the schizophrenic man didn't have that option. The only option he had was everyone else in the world or 2 testicles and a cock, and he cut them off. Shout out to that man. Hope he gets the Purple Heart he deserves. Also this week, so I kind of struggle with finding ways to spend my day, like, and I think that's everyone, but, like, ways that feel productive, because, like, I'll work myself into an exhaustion, and, like, it only feels good till I recover enough, and then I'm like, I feel like I have to go do something, or else I'm a lazy piece of shit. And so, like, I try to fill my day up, and I'd gone to the mall, because I needed to buy some things, and they got a Chick-fil-A in there, you know? So, I went to the mall, and it's always been like this. I think, and I don't want to, like, out him, but I'm pretty sure my stepdad is a mall walker. Okay? People around you every day that you don't even realize are mall walkers. They go to the mall because they have too little stimulation, and they walk. It's an interesting life, and it's an interesting idea. I think, like, I are people's doctors, they're like, yeah, I have whatever varicose veins in my legs or whatever, and like, oh, you need more, like, you know, activities. Like, how about you go to the mall, you do 3 laps around Dick's, and you come back, and they just write that on a prescription. Like, what are we doing here? Like, how are all these people going to the, like, is there a group of people talking, and like, oh, I'm gonna go to the mall to walk? How did it work? How did it start? There's so fucking many of them. Every day you go, there's different ones. Like, they have shifts. I wonder if there's something deeper here. I wonder if there is an underlying factor. I wonder if there's some sort of organization that could be behind the mall walkers. We know multiple organizations have converted into other things after not necessarily doing the greatest at what they've done, or like kind of phasing out of the public eye, you know. Now, thinking of the age group, could be could we be looking at Freemasons walking around? I don't know. I don't know. I'm also not sure what a fucking Freemason does. And I think that's half the mystery. Like, if somebody just came out and was like, they do literally build walls wherever they want, I'd be like, that makes sense. I can't. It kind of. Now they're just old guys with more mustache than they should. Like, maybe that's the deal with the devil. Maybe that's the Illuminati triangle, is that you get a cool ass mustache. But yeah, a lot of mall walkers. But it's funny too, because you think even. Like, I wonder if they're independent of the world around them. If they are more like an animal that comes to the same place to eat every day than they are like a part of the political machine. So like if they nuked places and they just kept nuking places and they were like, all right, everyone run to the malls. Like, the mall walkers already be there. They'd just be like, oh, it's busy today, and they move their shoulders more than any other part of their body. Nothing else is really moving. It's just their shoulders, and they're just going, and it looks like you're like, what part are you exercising if you're doing that? Because this is kind of a workout in itself, you know. So their mind's distracted. They're not there. They're focusing on whatever spine stimulation exercise they're doing, and if they got nuked everywhere else, they just made the malls, you know, like put them 100 feet underground, they would just continue to walk. If you put them in post-apocalyptic bunkers, they would not even know the difference. They would continue to call Cheryl or whichever part of the Freemasons got them into the mall. I do like to imagine they are all secret security, like they're all like bad grandpa like security, just waiting to just fucking murder somebody. Just as soon as you're like, just walking by and they're just pretending to order something from the vending machine for the 5th time, like, oh, I'm so confused. And then as soon as they see you put a fucking one shoe from Journeys in your left pocket, they, bah, 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 you know, like just immediately, like right, like all the way from the fucking Coke vending machine, you know. And so, you know, it's just one of those things that you have to wonder if people really do have extra things going on. Because especially old people like that, like, I hope so. I hope when you get old that you get to progress still. But part of me thinks there's not much to do when you're fucking old. There's just not. And like, you have to rely on your family to come see you. I don't want one of those. Like, I mean, I have family, but I don't want to have like kids and shit. Do you know how fun of a fucking uncle I'm gonna have to be to have kids come fucking visit me if I don't have any children of my own? It's gonna be a fucking issue. But, so I think it's good to have, like, maybe friends around, but, like, it's weird, too, because, like, I think of people, like my heroes and stuff that, like, still do stuff into their, like, early 70s and stuff, and, like, I just hope, I guess not necessarily early 70s, Rod Serling kind of died a little early. He's one of my heroes. I really enjoy him and his talks. Duncan Trussell, just as he gets older, almost seems to put out more and more content that's beautiful and aimed at, like, his life's themes. But I really hope that, like, as you get older, there's shit to do. Because it almost suggests that there's not much shit to fucking do. Which is neither here nor there. It is what it is if there's not. But, like, even I play a lot of The Sims. And it's funny, because in the first Sims or whatever, you just like play your dudes. In the second Sims, they started to die and all these things. In the third Sims, you had like you had the kids, and then you had the teens, and then you had young adults, and then you had adults, and then you had elders. They just added an extra step between young and midlife because they didn't know what to do with the old people. So whenever you play the newest Sims game, there's not shit to do with old people. Like, you're, like, removing tumors or whatever from them whenever they get sick once a week and they're, like, frail. Literally, yeah. Even in the game even the game of Sims, where it's all about life. It's all about having fun in the moment of living as your guy. They can't figure out what the fuck to do for old people. Like, I remember I tried to get this one old guy had been fat his whole life, and he's like, you know what, I'm gonna get into shape. And I try to get in shape in The Sims, and it's like, your back hurts for fucking 8 hours. You can't do anything physical. Like, even in games, like, fuck old people. Which I get. It's a life simulator and a good game at that, goddammit. For the most part. Some of the other Sims are better, but Sims is a good concept and game overall. Also, like, working and stuff and hanging out, I've been talking to a lot more adults, like, bars or anywhere, really. Like, just me presenting myself in a lot more adult manner and, like, being a little more professional and things. Like, you talk to a lot more adults. And it's interesting how adults are still the same type of animal. Like, the same type of unprofessional and the same type of that at least I once perceived myself to be. So it's fun to see, because I try not to judge, because it's like I was one decision most times from being those people, from all of a sudden just shutting off until I'm fucking 53 and then being like, what did I do with my life? I was very close to that, and like I don't blame people for what they have to go through, but at the same time, this lady comes in, she starts talking to us, me and some buddies, and she starts telling us, she's a little bit older, probably like 40, 50, probably more like early 40s, and so she starts telling us about all kinds of shit, and so I have a good time. I don't care about anything, just the same way that I'm telling you this stuff right now. I would tell people most stuff about me. So I told her about how I had gone to court-ordered rehab for a minute, and I'd seen this guy get his kids taken away over a bottle of Elmer's glue, and like things like that. It's like my stories are also out there, like there's things like that. But so, and I didn't share that yet. Basically, what had happened was, maybe I should start this over. Maybe I shouldn't have started out with that, but what happened was this lady had come in and started talking. We started talking about drinking, smoking, and basically I had just said something along the lines of, I prefer to smoke because drinking is just not as fun. I don't remember what happened. I don't enjoy myself. And so she starts to tell me about how her husband is the same way. Okay, which there's already a little bit of tinge to the garbage in this story, where you start to be like, oh, I see, I start to understand what this is, where you're like, oh, okay, I can smell it from here. And so it's one of those things that, so basically at the point of, she came in and started telling us about all this stuff about drinking and stuff. So I assume she doesn't drink or whatever. So then she has to go to the bathroom, and she's like, my eyes are turning yellow from Labor Day or whatever bullshit. And I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, whatever that means. I'm like, all right, so like maybe her husband's not the one with the drinking problem, or maybe they share custody over this drinking problem. And so she goes to the bathroom, comes back, and starts explaining about how she's like, yeah, I can't do it, I'm gonna leave, he can't be hitting me. And I'm like, alright, we're revealing a lot. And also the only difference between my stories and her stories are that hers are happening right now, and mine happened 3+ years ago. So like, yeah, I'm not necessarily out of the woods, but it's still, like, you just came from home where you guys were fighting. So she starts telling me how he has a recliner that he likes to sit back in, likes to lean back, and how his head hurts a lot, and how he had hurt his head when he was younger doing whatever. And she had talked about how he'll get drunk and start being mouthy. So what she'll do is she'll go to the end of the recliner and lift it up by the reclined chair and knock him back on his head. Which will result in death one day, which will result in a murder trial one day, which is what it is. And so she's explaining these things about how she had left her husband, but she was talking to him in this reclining chair, whenever she had just left for work. And so I'm not 100% sure what's happening. The next week goes by, and I talked to somebody else, and they happen to also work at that place. Now, I tend to keep my mouth a little quiet. I like to send out my feelers. However, my friends, not as much. So, at one point, one of them starts telling her verbatim, basically, what we had said. And I'm like, don't fucking include me in this shit. Don't fucking do that to me. I'm not the one who fucking, I'm having fun here, but, like, I also told shit about my life, And so they're making shit out of her, to this other lady that, like, works in the same place. And I can kind of pick up on the same, when someone's the same shade as somebody else, you know what I'm saying? Where you look at them and you go, you guys have the same darkness, the same tint to you. Now, this isn't racial, this is person to person, but where you're like, you get them, and you guys are cut from the same cloth. So this lady comes through and she's talking, and I'm like, hey, don't be telling him everything. She tells us, she goes, oh, I think I know who you're talking about. I'm not gonna. It's my best friend. No shit. No fucking shit. So I'm looking around like, look what you guys fucking did, right? And so then I'm like, she's not a bad person, but she does share a lot. And she's like, oh, ha, 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 yeah, it is what it is. And so just to say, and I've had this before too, where people will look at you and like, so after I'd be in the nursery at church, I'd babysit people's kids basically while they were in the sermon. They'd get out of the sermon and you hand their kids back or whatever. And so sometimes like kids from divorced homes would be like, they'd be like, I told Mr. Dumb about how I get to stay at mommy and daddy's house even though he has a girlfriend now. And it's like, all right, let's calm it down, And like the parents are like, all right, thank you. And like stuff like that where it's like, oh, did he tell you about daddy's new house? Did he tell you about daddy's new dog and family? Things like that were like, oh, did he show you his new toy guns that he got that we keep telling people to stop calling guns and telling everyone he has guns, things like that. In the same manner that people do that for their children. This lady looks at me just about her best friend. She goes, did she show you the bruises? Did she show you the bruises? You know her. She's just always going somewhere and she's got to show you all her bruises. She's got 16 of them now. She tries to maintain at least 14. Did she show you the bruises? Did she show you the bruises? What a telling and beautiful tale. What a back cover to that DVD of a person, Truly, you think about things and you think, it can't be like that. But you start to realize that it is just like that. And that you can live in whatever life you want. If you want to be somebody's forever WWE Tag Team Superstar, you can. You can find that person. You can suplex them and throw them on their head every day. And they'll put up with it. It's insane. Did she show you the bruises? No. Hey, call the police. Hey, get out your phone and dial 911 and report a domestic dispute. Did she show you the bruises? Huh? Insane. But people don't even care. People don't even question. And so she starts to talk like she knows what's going on. She starts to talk like she understands. Like she understands what's happening and she would never be a part of it. And she tells her just to leave. She tells her he's not worth it. She tells her just to leave. And proceeds to immediately start talking about her own alcoholic husband that used to hit her. It's spreading. Fuck COVID. Get away from me. Whatever you have, no thank you. How do you think you're different? How do you think you're different? It's insane. And I think it just comes from like You just don't have people that think all the time, you know, like people that don't like constantly put thoughts together, people that don't constantly like think about what they're not just what they're taking in, but what they're putting out. In a similar vein, and on a more serious note, did she show you the fruit? More serious. Um, September. I saw this on Facebook. Admittedly, but I thought it would be important to cover. September is Childhood Cancer Month. Just be aware of childhood cancer. Anytime you're looking at a sunset, anytime you're hugging your children or your wife, anytime you feel any amount of happiness, remember kids with cancer for September, because October is a jump to underage abuse month, where anytime you're happy, you just reflect on any underage abuse, whether it be your own or somebody else's. Feel free to shout at people in public, make them feel terrible for it, and make sure they feel like they did it. Make sure you point real hard and kind of squint your eyes when you do it. Make sure when you're loud, you don't show your teeth, because you don't have teeth, you just have gums. It's other problems you didn't work on. And now, in November, we're going to step it up, because it is about awareness, but it's not enough to be aware. We have to remember through action, and you have to want to make things better. So that's why in November we are going to separate everyone onto trains, and we are going to ship them off to work camps, and we are going to relive the Holocaust for 30 days, for just 30 days. Actually, I think November's 31 days. So it'll be, I mean, it's technically going to be 33 with the trains there. You need to be there by the 1st, and then the train's leaving. You won't leave till the 1st of December. But yeah, so we'll relive the Holocaust so people can feel good about that. Now, I know what you're thinking. The Holocaust did affect some people, and those people are still out there. And we don't want them to feel, because they're aware, and they remember, and they relive it. And so in order to kind of not just punch up and give them the feeling that they never got to have, but to make sure that they don't feel slighted by this, we are going to make all the Jews play the Nazis. Just so they can have that power dynamic be switched, they can understand what's happening, they can feel better about it. So yeah, if you're Jewish, just dress up as a Nazi. You'll put people onto the trains, things like that. So that'll be fun. I mean, that's just to make sure everyone's aware, make sure everyone feels good, and make sure everyone, just remember, anytime you have any happiness, you should either be at a concentration camp or thinking about children with worse lives. I don't understand. But it is a thing that I do see a lot, where people are just like making up months, but it's just funny. It's never a month of, hey man, this month is about flowers. Go out and study flowers. This month I'm going to post every type of flower that's so pretty. You know what? This month's about planets. And it used to happen kind of in the knots. Maybe that's when it happened. It was like in the early knots, you know? In like the 2000s and shit. But it's one of those things that just like, we haven't had that for years. It's just like remember every dead soldier day. It's just like I get it, but also why is every holiday about grieving and mourning? It's just, I mean, maybe they're setting us up for something, you know? They're just like, the holidays will be the days you're happiest in the future, so think about those days that they're marking tragedies. Those will be the happiest days. Those will be the only days we can manage a ceasefire with whatever terrorist organization takes over America. My last thought is also, I believe it or not, internet induced. The internet is filled with drug addicts and troubled people because the life sucks on the outside, sure. But these are also people with dependencies on other things that are now being given phones and are now dependent on phones. And so they're trying to get these feelings from phones. And those type of people are oftentimes junkies, addicts, people who are unloved, people who are candidates to be addicts but are not. And this one person I have on Facebook, she's an insane person. She'll get pulled over, but the police will let her go. She has a lot of that big money, you know what I'm talking about, the money where you don't get to go to jail anymore. And she'll have cocaine, LSD, weed on her, whatever. It all smells and it all looks great. And like she'll just cause a ruckus and absolutely nothing will happen. Fucking shit, dummies. We're gonna finish this goddamn story if I fucking have to kill myself over it. So, basically, these people are always on Facebook, are just looking for the next high. They're looking for it from other people. They're looking for it from groups and pages they post in, memes, everything. It's all, Facebook is one giant just dopamine shit hub where you just pump it into your fucking mind. And you don't care what it says. You just want it. And this woman posts, every time she'll share something about, Lord forgive what he has done. It's a picture of Biden sitting next to a dog looking at the sunset. You're like, is this for? I don't understand who's this. And then she'll like post a giant picture of a truck or whatever. Or like it'll be a kid running with his dad, and it'll be like, since when did this America die? And it's like, aren't you a 30-year-old woman? Like, what the fuck is that? Like, she doesn't have a family or kids. Like, what the fuck what is that? So it'll just be stuff like that, like all the time. And so this particular post said something along the lines of when given an opportunity, be nice. You'll be surprised what happens. Just some stupid, what's that Darman bullshit, whatever fucking stupid shit, It's just the same stuff. So basically, it's one of those things like, be nice instead of be mean. It good. And it's like, all right, fantastic. And so she wrote above it, absolutely, a better high from being kind than stuck up. What the fuck are you? Like, she's just openly admitting that she wouldn't. It's just like, are you just like being nice to people and then being like, how did that feel? That's nice. Ooh. Okay, yeah, it's a little rapid on. So it kind of comes on at first, it's like slow, and then right there, Nice body high, yeah. What the fuck are you talking about? Better high? These people are literally fucking junkies. Literally homeless people have phones. That's what this is. These are crackheads. This is insane. People don't care. It's wild. It's wild. A better high from being kind than stuck up. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not about getting a high off being. Maybe that's what drugs are for. Maybe you don't need to get high because you're nice. What are we fucking... And it's just like, isn't your grandma on this shit? Like, what the fuck? Yeah. Being kind is a better high? What? Since when? Anyone who says that's a fucking liar. And I'm not gonna lie, I think of myself as pretty nice, but so would anyone else who holds these fucking sentiments. But, fucking, what do you mean a high? What do you mean a high? Most times, after I do something nice, I have to convince myself I did the right thing. Because 99% of people will fuck you over as soon as they're out of eyesight. Immediately. I've had it happen so many times because I've taken so many chances, but the only people who don't get to see that are the ones who don't take those chances because it happens. It's so fucking dumb. What a dumb fucking bitch. Better high. Does she show you the bruises? It's no different. It's no different. These are just people chasing feelings. They don't want anything, and that's all that's happened. That's what's happened with our whole society. We don't build pyramids. We don't have construction projects that take over 30 years. We don't have anything that's supposed to be multi-generational. Because you're all gonna die, and it matters what the fuck you feel right now. It's never about any kids. It's never about people after. It's always about before, me, now. And that's what you get. Junkies. Because it's the same fucking thing that the junkie does. They wake up in the morning and they go, I'm smoking crack right now. Even though I have work in 3 hours, I'm smoking crack right now. Because I'm selfish. Because this is my time. Because I don't care if I make it to 3 o'clock. Not just I don't think I will. Fuck what you think. I don't care. So I leave you with this, friends. Anytime you have something going on, and all these stories, I've just suggested, think outside the fucking box. If you're on your 3rd lap around the mall, maybe ask why you're not finding a place with a sidewalk and trees. Why are you walking in a place with an Auntie Anne's pretzels? What? The fuck? Just think. Or, let's say you see a man with his hand out the car and his dick's in the hand. Don't insult that man, because you might be looking at the next fucking Purple Heart recipient of America. That's the bravest man alive. Jocko Willink couldn't get me to cut off my cock, you understand? That man deserves a fucking medal. And whatever, that'll be the last fucking thought. If you'd cut off your dick for the world, you deserve a fucking medal. Welcome to America, fuckers. God damn it. Fucking who cares?